Hey everybody, what is up? It is June the 1st, 2022. I am over my back issues pretty much. So you are getting the both barrels version of the Maestro this week.
God help us.
I am Kevin Crane.
I'm David Height.
The Conquistador, as always, by my side.
Thank you, Maestro. It is officially summer because we had the big Memorial Day weekend just passed.
And what happens on that Memorial Day weekend, Dave?
All racing, all damn day.
Racing. We go from Monaco to Indianapolis to Charlotte, and that is exactly what we are going to do here in our opening segment here, episode 22, season 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0. Now, believe it or not, I have a lot of friends who love F1 and IndyCar. I mean, believe it or not, I have friends outside of the man sitting to my left. Shocking, I know. But this was probably the most I've watched of the Monaco Grand Prix and the Indianapolis 500 in years. Now, the Grand Prix, I believe, got shortened a little bit. They had to go to time because they had a major crash.
Yeah.
And they always try to get the race in and not interfere with the start of the Indy 500. Sergio Perez ends up winning the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yep, that's one I did not get to watch any of because I had yard work in preparation for people coming over on Sunday.
And then, of course, we go to the Indy 500. An interesting race, to say the least.
Penalties galore. Dixon hosed himself.
Scott Dixon's got to be the story here. Scott Dixon, of course, won the pole, looking for his second Indianapolis 500 championship, which kind of puts you in that rarefied air. And there are sports like that. The NBA is like that. A team wins one championship. There are those out there who will look at it as kind of a fluke. You win two, then you're legitimate.
Yeah.
And that's what Dixon was looking for, was to legitimize himself as one of the greatest IndyCar drivers of the last 30 or 40 years.
Because he could dominate at times through his career there. But it's Indy. You can get snake bit so easily.
So with roughly 24 laps left in the race, he gets nailed with a speeding penalty in the pits.
Bye-bye. That hurt.
Of course, Jimmy Johnson did lead a lap, so I guess he's going to have that in his back pocket to say.
Yeah, he cycled through on the pit sequences to be able to lead that one lap.
Hey, they can't take it away from him.
That's right.
But, of course, he got
4 laps to go. He brings out the caution.
The red flag.
The red flag caution.
4 or 5 laps left. Jimmy Johnson brings out the red flag, which sets everything up for Marcus Ericsson.
Yep, he was leading at the time handily. And, wow, red flagged it, and that put the field on his tail. Pato O'Ward was licking his chops thinking, all right, I've got a shot. So you set up the green-white checkered finish. Coming down the front stretch. What was it on the final lap? O'Ward makes his move, gets on the outside, looks like he might have him. But Ericsson just keeps the throttle down on the inside. O'Ward had to back off. And off Ericsson went to hold on. But that was some phenomenal driving by Ericsson. The way he was going up and down, back and forth across the track, trying to break the draft. At one point, it looked like they were all going to hit the wall at the entrance to pit road coming off of 4. But yeah, it was an exciting final couple of laps, and congratulations to Ericsson going 0 for F1 and overcame his fear of ovals, moving over to Indy racing, and good for him.
And we, in a couple weeks, we will have exclusive info for you because one of our 8 panelists was actually at this year's Indy 500. Aaron, the Big Easy, was there. So we're going to be talking to him here in a few weeks, and we will pass along any and all information.
Yep.
His feelings, his thoughts.
2 others who were there as well.
But they're not on the Sports Frenzy panel.
They are not. So
that's a difference.
There is a pseudo should be a panelist, but his work schedule does not allow for anything. But buddy,
we're like the NBA. We're always looking to expand.
Yeah.
So.
My buddy Egg was down there.
And, he'd have a great nickname already.
Yep. Egg was down there with a couple of his kids, and one of the big wrecks happened right in front of them, and they got some debris tossed their way. Though his daughter got a little bit in her face, but everything was all right.
Wow. Yes, if you want to become a Sports Frenzy panelist, please submit $100,000. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
A 4-page essay on why we should accept you.
We are a very close, tight-knit group here. You have to know somebody.
Who knows somebody.
Yeah, it's like the Hellfire Club. Check out the weekend edition, if you're not already, to understand that little Stranger Things reference.
Yes.
But then the third part of the Memorial Day Sunday racing extravaganza would, as always, have to be the Coca-Cola 600 from Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Longest race of the year, not only miles, but time-wise as well.
They came really close to pushing it to Monday. I think they fell a couple minutes short.
Just short.
But it was a long, long race. I will admit I did not watch it all until Monday. There's no way I was staying up for all that.
Yeah, no, we had people over, so I was watching it here and there. Everything wrapped up. I did get to see the end of it.
It was a full circle. It was. I'm sitting here looking at my notes and I'm going, how do I not have more stuff written down about this race? Because I've got Denny Hamlin on the pole. Then I've got wins. Denny Hamlin winning, but all the stuff that happened in between.
Oh my God, there was some major wreckage.
Well, the big wreck was Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney goes down on the apron, takes out William Byron, takes out about 2 or 3 other big name drivers.
Chase Elliott, Joey Logano. I mean, just wiped out 10 cars.
Yep, that was the one that was reminiscent of the big one at a Talladega or a Daytona.
Yeah,
and that hurt a lot of us on our panel, especially the 4 people who took Chase Elliott.
Yeah,
hurt me with Byron, hurt Jen with Ryan Blaney.
Yep, and then freaking Bowman earlier on.
Bowman was just mediocre the whole night.
He did not have a car at all for anything.
We did not, none of the 8 of our panel members really had a good pick.
No, not at all.
I think Nick had the best with Martin Truex, and he still ended up with 30 points, maybe, for the night, which is nothing when you're considering the fact that there's an extra stage. Right. An extra 10 points to be had.
Yeah, it was just
so it was pretty much
brutal.
Pathetic all the way around for us.
Not a good situation at all.
No. Now, in other NASCAR news, NASCAR loves Phoenix so much they want to marry them. No, they want to keep the championship weekend there. They have already locked in Phoenix for 2023. So Phoenix will have the championship weekend yet again next year.
Yeah, let's face it, there's really not going to be any weather issues.
Right. You're going to have to pick some place, West Coast or South.
Yeah.
You're going to have to.
It's a fairly competitive track.
You can't pick a super speedway.
No.
So that limits you. That limits you to either basically Phoenix, Texas, or Miami and Homestead.
Yeah, or California,
Oh,
Vegas.
Oh, God, Fontana?
No, that's a shit track. It's not competitive.
I could see Vegas getting it in a couple years.
Potentially.
I like Phoenix the best of all of them.
Better because it's got more of a unique layout.
Exactly.
And I love the way they fan out 4 or 5 wide.
Yes. Phoenix is a much better championship race venue than Homestead, in my opinion.
Hands down.
Yep. Media rights are going to be back up for bid starting in 2025. Is the mouse, the rat, going to come back into the picture again? Rumblings and rumors are
there's money to be had.
Even though they say they like having F1 as their flagship racing standard,
they're going to throw money out there.
Hey, if they split it with Fox, they take over the NBC part,
I'm good with that.
I'm all with that.
Depending on the broadcast crew.
Could it be any worse than NBC? Honestly.
Do not ask that question.
It could always be worse.
It could always be worse.
Oh my God. I can't stand the fact that we're just a few weeks away from switching over from the Fox crew, who I love, to the NBC crew, who I hate with a passion.
Despise immensely.
Oh, Lord.
That's going to be rough.
All right. This weekend, it is a brand new track for the Cup Series.
Yep.
Very exciting. Very, very exciting.
Xfinity and the trucks have been running at
Portland, right? Aren't they going to Portland this week? I thought I saw.
No, the trucks and Xfinity have run at WW Technology.
But not this
Raceway.
Week.
No, they're not all running there. The trucks are running there this week.
Okay, I think Xfinity is going to Portland.
Xfinity's going to Portland, but the NASCAR series has run at what used to be known as Gateway Speedway outside of St. Louis. It just over the border in Illinois. Right. Now WW Technology.
Yep, Worldwide Technology Raceway. The Enjoy Illinois 300.
Yep.
Is the inaugural Cup race here.
Very similar track design to Darlington. It's got that egg-shaped oval.
Asphalt surface.
Yep.
It's close. 1.25 mile. I think Darlington's
1 1/3.
1 1/3, right. So very similar. So you can look at the numbers for the people that have run well at Darlington and extrapolate if you choose.
You could also look at who's won there in the Xfinity and in the trucks.
But it's been a long time since they've run the Xfinity series there.
Yeah, the trucks have been there.
Because if I was going with that logic, I would have gone with Kevin Harvick.
Right.
Because Harvick has won there multiple times, but we're going back over a decade.
Back over a decade. Doing the research, most recently, Ross Chastain won in 2019 there in the truck.
And Ross Chastain with Chip Ganassi in the fall last year finished, I believe, in the top 3. Yep. And then this spring, he won one stage. He finished second in another stage.
Car,
and he got in an accident.
Got taken out.
So that should tell you where Dave and I are going.
Yep. We're going racing with Ross.
Yes. I am so impressed, so unbelievably impressed with what I've seen from Ross Chastain and Trackhouse Racing this year. They are phenomenal.
Yeah, they have really
come out. It makes you wonder why other teams can't step up like this.
Yeah. And, they bought everything from Chip Ganassi Racing when Chip decided to get out of NASCAR.
Yep.
But they still had to build the new next-gen car. They still had to put the crew together and mesh the crew chief with the driver, they found the chemistry there right off the bat. I'm
Yeah, and
impressed.
I know this is only race 15, and this is going to be a bold proclamation, but I'm telling you right now, from what I've seen through 14 races from Ross Chastain, he would be in my top 5 in terms of winning the entire championship this year. Right now.
Yeah, they've been
Easily
consistent.
top 5.
They
Easily
have
top 5.
been consistent.
The Big Easy, Aaron, is also joining Dave and I on Chastain Island. We've got 6 of our 8 panelists with their picks in right now. Sam is going with Alex Bowman. Bill is going with one of the guys that I think is a safe pick, but we'll see, with Kevin Harvick. And then Nick is going with Dirty Bush, Kyle Busch.
There you go.
Yeah, I kind of switched gears on this one, no pun intended. About Monday, on Memorial Day, I was leaning towards Logano.
I flirted with that, but
then looking back at
digging.
Chastain, looking back at how Chastain runs at this type of track, this configuration.
Yeah. And
plus, it's time to start going off the board a little bit.
Yeah, you got
None of us are winning that much. This has got to be the, if not the most, close to the least amount of wins as a group we've had through 14 races.
Yeah, it's been abysmal.
In years and years.
It's been really abysmal.
Yep, so time to shake things up a little bit. As Rick Ocasek, Benjamin Orr, and the Cars said, shake it up.
Exactly.
All right, kids, that's it for segment 1. It's going to be a short Sports Frenzy 2.0 episode this week. We don't have a lot else to talk about. But stay with us. We do have our fun and games coming.
We do. There's a few little topics that are
going
to be very interesting.
Yeah, we got more national anthem protests. We've got some moments of silence, of course, down to the Final 4 in the NHL, down to the Final 2 in the NBA, and plus some miscellaneous golf, tennis tidbits.
Yep, a little bit of NFL intrigue coming to Washington, D.C.
So, by no means, tune out. Never tune out on us.
No, we will keep you entertained.
And, of course, as always, check out the weekend edition.
Drop Saturday morning.
Yep. We have got previews of Def Leppard's new album. We have got Stranger Things Season 4 to talk about. I personally have a review of Studio 666.
Nice.
Featuring the Foo Fighters. And Jackass 4.5.
Almost.
So,
watched that one.
Check out the weekend edition on Saturday morning, but stay tuned here. We're going to give you about a half hour more of awesome prime cut sports news entertainment. We'll be right back.
This episode of Sports Frenzy 2.0 is brought to you by the Bills Mafia Marital Aid Company, because when you are down and out, we'll bring you back up and in the game. Sports Frenzy 2.0 on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher.
All right, kids, welcome back to segment 2 of Sports Frenzy 2.0. I'm the Conquistador Dave Height.
Along with the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Here we are recording June 1st, 2022. This will hit Thursday, June 2nd. As always, we try and get it for you as early as possible. We're going to take you out to the ball game here to start off with baseball. As usual, I got to start off lamenting my underperforming White Sox. Blowing a game against Toronto, they are now sitting 23-24, still only 5 back behind the Twins, who are also not doing what they should be doing.
They're not beating the teams they should be beating.
Yeah.
They've been playing here a long stretch between Detroit and Kansas City.
And they're splitting.
Barely playing 500 baseball.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic. These are the guys they should be beating if they want to bury the rest of the division. It's not a good division.
No.
It's not at all. And
as much as we ripped on the Cincinnati Reds at the beginning of the season, the first month, right now the Kansas City Royals are looking like they're the worst team in baseball. And the Reds are starting to at least show some level of respect for themselves.
They're trying to stick it to the owner and give the fans something.
And he's still trying to trade away every piece he can.
Yeah, he's such a douche. So, but with the Sox, things just continue to spiral downward because they had to put Cease and Graveman on the restricted list because they were unable to travel to Canada.
Ooh, I did not know this.
Yes.
Ooh, breaking news.
Idiots. So they were not able to go up to Canada, so they're unavailable. Tim Anderson, over the weekend on a play, tweaked his groin, so he's gone for at least 3 weeks, which really hurts because he was lighting it up at the plate. And they were starting to score a few runs with him going, and now that's done. Biggest news, though, from the weekend, Dallas Keuchel was designated for assignment, and he has been waived. He is gone, thankfully, because he has not been able to pitch since they took the spider tack away. His ERA just kept ballooning, and he's been awful. Bye-bye to him, which was easy to do with the way Johnny Cueto has been throwing. So just got to gimp along there until we get Lance Lynn back, and he should be pretty close here in the next week or so. So, and unfortunately, Eloy Jimenez, in his first rehab start, felt a little soreness in that surgically repaired hamstring, so they kind of had to back him off a little bit to make sure nothing was wrong there. He was a couple weeks ahead of schedule in that anyway, and so I just don't push him. Get him back.
Yeah, because the thing is, I think the best strategy you could have for the White Sox is win the division. Don't worry about wild card. Do not worry about what Toronto's doing. Do not worry about what Tampa Bay's doing. Do not worry about what the Angels are doing. No. You worry about the team in front of you in your division, the Twins.
Right now,
that's your easiest prey.
Right now, you have to be able to maintain the Twins within striking distance until everybody comes back healthy. Because, let's face it, over the last month or so, I think it was the last 35 games, the White Sox have tried it out 35 different lineups. It's getting frustrating, even when you had guys there. Dumbass La Russa kept tweaking the lineup instead of letting these guys settle into a role and get consistent play. He's not doing them any favors either. So there we go.
I still think it's too early to write off the White Sox, especially given the fact that I'm an outsider. I'm looking from the outside in. I don't have a horse in the race, but like you said, Lance Lynn comes back, even losing Keuchel, who is the model of inconsistency. Even when he was good, everybody knew it was like, every other year?
Yeah.
He was Cy Young for him, and then the year he was pretty much off, he was awful.
Yeah.
The Twins have no pitching. No,
they don't. And it's showing. It's definitely showing.
And Carlos Correa has not been able to stay on the field. Now he's on the COVID list after being on the injured list. So that's going to turn out to be one of those contracts that He gambled on himself for 1 year, and that could end up biting him in the ass, unlike a Judge.
Right.
An Aaron Judge in New York, who is coming through unbelievably well.
So far.
If he doesn't get injured, he is going to earn himself probably $400 million next year.
Still be stupid to give him that much money, because this is the only year where he hasn't had any issues.
I agree. I agree.
You got to look at the track record as well.
But he's an MVP candidate right now. So
right now he is.
2 months in. 2 months in. 4 more to go.
It's the long haul, kids.
Yeah. And, of course, Cubs fans do not want to hear that, because the first 2 months have been a nightmare, and it's just going to get worse, because they're going to start trading players away in another couple months. The Cubs are 20-29 as we tape, 4th place in the NL Central,
and
even behind the woeful Pittsburgh Pirates. I mentioned the Cincinnati Reds are playing better. Cubs have the 3rd worst record in the National League. They are 11 games behind Milwaukee. This is what you get, Tom Ricketts, when you don't get any goddamn decent players in and you just play cheap money ball. Yep, they get what they deserve, and I feel bad for guys like Patrick Wisdom, Kyle Hendricks, Wilson Contreras, Frank Schwindel. Those guys I like. Guys who just recently joined the Cubs versus guys who've been here for 6-7 years. You're treating them all like garbage. You are treating them all like garbage. How's Jason Hayward doing, by the way? How's he doing?
Hasn't he been
sitting on the bench, making $26, $27 million a year this year and next year?
Thanks, Theo.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you're going to use him as an excuse. How did that Suzuki signing turn out? Looking a lot like fuck you do me. I mean Fukudome, isn't it? Guy comes out on fire the first 2 or 3 weeks, and then the pitchers catch up with him.
And he has not been able to readjust.
And he has not been able to stay healthy either. That's going to be another bunch of money flushed down the toilet at Wrigley Field. Now, of course, the big controversial topic in baseball this week. You can hate him. You can love him. It's looking like he didn't cause the problems in Philadelphia, because he moved to San Francisco, and that team had the best record in baseball last year. But Gabe Kapler is a nut job. He is a flake. I'm sorry, he is. Man was talking about rubbing coconut oil on his privates. But we're seeing now Joe Girardi can't even save the Philadelphia Phillies.
No, the Phillies are just God.
But like Steve Kerr, you people know how I feel about Steve Kerr. Like Greg Popovich, you know how I feel about Greg Popovich.
Gabe Kapler is joining that whole group here of late.
Yep.
With his national anthem protest, staying in the clubhouse until we do something to save our school children.
But I'll suspend it for Memorial Day, because I don't want to upset the veterans. You're a hypocrite. You're an idiot, and you're a hypocrite. You either do the protest or you don't do the protest. You don't take days off and choose when you go ahead and sit out the national anthem and when you don't. That's not a protest. That's you being a snowflake. So here's the thing.
I would have more respect if he would just be done with it. But this wishy-washy stance on what he's doing.
I have no respect for him at all, because it's not solving any problems. Steve Kerr, Greg Popovich, Gabe Kapler are not solving any goddamn problems. Run for office if you think your ideas are that strong, that brilliant. run for office, become mayor, become governor, become congressman, become congresswoman, become president, and fix it if you think you can. But sitting out like a little baby during the national anthem, you are
useless.
Just turning into a coconut oil covered Naomi Osaka, in my opinion. Oh God, I just got, that's kind of a neat.
Coconut oil covered Naomi Osaka.
She's 18, right?
God help me. I'm out, Jerry.
Yeah, she is 18, right? Please tell me I didn't just commit a federal offense on the podcast. She's like 23, right? Right?
Oh, hold on.
No, we're not going to. She is over 18. Anyway, you get the point. Don't be a hypocrite when it comes to these protests. We said it with the NFL a few years ago. If you can make a difference, make a difference. 24 years old, Naomi Osaka. I'm okay to envision her covered in coconut oil. I'm all right. All you haters out there, do not come after me.
All right.
If you can make a difference, but you're not going to do it with these stupid, petty, goddamn, like Colin Kaepernick in his pig socks, protesting the police. What the fuck difference does it make if you wear a set of pig socks? What the hell difference are you making? You're not making a goddamn difference.
Now, are you selling them and making money and putting it towards causes that need it?
Back into the communities that you feel have been persecuted by corrupt police officers?
That is making a difference. Not keeping it for yourself.
Yeah, how much of your Nike contract did you give to charity, Colin?
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yep.
All right. Now, with that transition to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about Naomi Osaka and coconut oil. Sorry. She's 24. I can do it.
You can. All right. The House Oversight Committee that's been looking into all the issues with the Washington Commanders have now summoned Dan Snyder and Roger Goodell to testify before the Congressional Committee. They asked them at this point, if they don't show up, they plan to subpoena them and go as far as the compulsory process to force them to appear.
We have seen this in the NBA. We have seen this in the NFL. Why is it this process with this particular team is taking so long?
Because there is no transparency in any respect from either the Commanders or the NFL. Let's face it, the big thing why they want to talk to Goodell is they want to know what's the NFL's role in setting and enforcing the supposed league standards. Why are different teams treated differently? Why are you not transparent?
And related to the mess with the Washington Commanders, maybe something will come out of this. Judge rules that the NFL's motion to toss John Gruden's lawsuit denied.
Yep, they will go forward with the trial.
Go, Chucky! Go, Chucky!
Get him, Chucky, because that whole thing ties into this.
It's got to. It's got to. This is whole one messy, smelly, stinky quagmire. In the end, you know it's going to have to end up being the end of the Commanders for Dan Snyder.
It's got to be. Could this be the death knell for Roger Goodell leading the...
No. Roger Goodell somehow comes out of every controversy smelling like a freaking lavender.
Yeah, well, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, could it be a duck in a human suit?
You know I have stuck up for him more than you have. And I still say he has botched a lot of the things that he could have gotten right to make himself the all-time greatest commissioner in NFL history.
He has been so inconsistent.
The penalties on the players.
Letting the owners do whatever they want, getting away with everything, sweeping things under the rug, picking and choosing.
What? We never heard anything about Jerry Jones.
No.
How did that look for the league?
Where are we with the whole Brian Flores thing?
Very quiet, right? Very, very quiet. Oh, by the way, a 23rd lawsuit has been filed against Deshaun Watson. A 23rd masseuse has come forward.
How you feeling there, Cleveland?
You still feeling okay with that $1 million first-year salary?
What? I want to know, what investigation on your own did you do to determine that, we're okay to sign him? Did you just ask him? Sounds like that's all you did. And I hope you get screwed on this thing. Big time.
This would be like going back to the 70s in a time machine. And you're the geek with braces and big old bifocal glasses. And you go to a party senior year and the prom queen is there and she's hammered on Rumple Mints. And she staggers into the bedroom and you happen to be in there, playing your little handheld football game with the little,
techno ball.
Yeah. And she decides, I want to have sex with you right now, but you have to sign over all your savings bonds to me, right? Because that's back, that was what it was back in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Savings bonds. And you sign them all over and you have your one night of pleasure, your one night of ecstasy. And you wake up the next morning and you go, oh, shit, what have we done? What have I done? That's what it's like to me. Not that I've ever done that. I did go to college.
Buyer's remorse is coming to Cleveland.
Yep. Finally, wrapping up this segment, it would not be a full NFL segment if I didn't get to annihilate my team, the Chicago Bears, for once again deciding we don't need to spend any money. Why do we need to spend any money? We don't. If we barely field a USFL team, we'll be okay. Akeem Hicks had been sitting out there for months and months and months. Guess who comes in and swoops in and gets him? Thankfully, my other favorite team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. $10 million 1-year deal. Akeem Hicks goes to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers to the Super Bowl!
I don't think Hicks would have re-signed with the Bears anyway.
Because he knows they're a bunch of goddamn losers.
Because they're not going anywhere this year. He wants a chance to win, and he just got it.
Good for him. Good for Akeem. Goddamn shame on the Bears. Shame on the Bears. I do not pay for ESPN Plus. I will never pay for ESPN Plus. But I did see when I went on ESPN's website today, big story, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon on the front page. Why didn't the Bears get any more help for Justin Fields?
I know.
I don't know what the strategy. You seem to be more on board with this strategy than I am.
I am more okay with you. They were in such shit shape everywhere that there was nothing you could do in the short term to try and turn it around.
But you could have signed these guys to a 1-year deal. Sammy Watkins, you could have signed to a 1-year deal. Akeem Hicks, you could have signed to a 1-year deal. That's what he signed with Tampa.
Get it all over with. Rip the frickin' Band-Aid off and move forward.
You're acting like next year's free agency smorgasbord is going to be fit for...
Could be, it might not be. We'll wait and see.
For Caesar, Napoleon, Genghis Khan all combined.
it's not going to be a 1-year fix. It's going to be a year or two before they're going to be able to be where they need to be because
5 years. 5 years. Another new GM, another new, if not 2 more head coaches, because I am already done before they've even played one game with this organization, this front office, this coaching staff. I'm already done. They are sacrificial lambs. They are sacrificial lambs is what they are. And it's Ted Phillips and it's the McCaskies once again.
Screwing everything up?
Yep.
Probably.
$18 beers, that's fine. Cubs do the same goddamn thing. Cubs do the same goddamn thing.
I'm not going to play as cynical as you. I'm actually semi-okay with trying to get out from under the shit that we have been through for the last 7 years.
I understand that, but you can't rely on one class of free agents to get you better. This is going to, you have to at least try to bring in pieces year after year after year, and they brought nobody in this year. They could have afforded to bring in Akeem Hicks for 1 year, Sammy Watkins for 1 year.
Just let it go. Destroy it to build it back.
God.
Instead of wallowing in abysmal mediocrity.
And you're going to destroy your franchise quarterback, by the way. That's the worst thing. That's the worst part of this whole thing, is you are going to destroy Justin Fields. So once again, another franchise quote-unquote quarterback
is going away.
Gets buried because of the ineptitude of the McCaskies and Ted Phillips.
And it's a result going back over a decade.
I could live with you and your theory and your world viewpoint when it comes to the Bears, except for Justin Fields. You are sacrificing that young man with such potential. Trade him right now, then. Trade his ass right now. Trade his ass right now.
Why not? Get the draft.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to do it,
and get the draft,
because he's doomed to fail. He is doomed to fail, Dave.
Then you let him sit, and you let the other sacrificial quarterback sitting behind him go out there.
Trevor Siemian and Nathan Peterman. Oh my God!
Why have Fields have his ass handed to him behind a line that doesn't exist?
Trade him! Trade him now! If this is what you're going to do, trade him.
Get a couple of first rounders?
You won't get 2. You might get 1.
Get 1 and a second and maybe a third?
I'm telling you, that would be, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to blow it all up.
Do it right.
But I'm not destroying his career. I am not destroying his career.
His career or him physically.
There you go. That's another point. Is he going to make it through a full season without getting just pummeled into the ground every single week?
Yeah.
Because they're going to triple team Darnell Mooney, and there's going to be nobody else open.
And he's going to have to run and take the hits that he shouldn't take.
Whew! I didn't think I was getting fired up this week, but I am. Dave got me fired up. I don't understand the philosophy. The Bears right now are barely better than the Houston Texans in my eyes. Barely better. Barely better. And the thing is, the Texans have a young quarterback going into his second year, just like the Bears. But the difference is he was, a third or fourth round pick, Davis Mills, versus a top 10 pick.
The problem is stupid-ass Phillips and McCaskey gave Pace and Nagy that extra year. And they fucked the organization in that final year like we said they were going to do.
Yep. But you've heard us lament, rant, and rave about the Bears long enough.
Yep. Time to move on.
Yep. Next segment, we will touch on the NBA Finals, which, of course, haven't started yet because they have to take almost a week off.
Yep.
From the end of the conference finals to the NBA Finals.
Come on.
Hockey just starting the Final Four. We'll talk about that.
Yep.
Tennis, golf, moments of silence.
dumbasses.
Couple appropriate dumbasses for you.
Yep. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Feeling mildly fatigued? Need a day off even if you just took one a few days ago? Make $30 million a year but just don't want to work for it? You need to join the NBA Load Management Club right now. When they're not napping or texting, guest lecturers Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving will describe foolproof ways to earn tens of thousands of dollars by not doing anything. Sports Frenzy 2.0, available on Spotify, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, is currently negotiating with LeBron James to bring his popular How to Make the Hall of Fame Without Really Trying webinar live and in person to the Load Management Club. Thanks again to Sports Frenzy 2.0 and all you apathetic fans out there for making us a success. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to the final segment this week on Sports Frenzy 2.0, episode 22 for the year 2022, taping here on June the 1st. I am the maestro, Kevin Crane.
I'm the conquistador, Dave Height.
We would be remiss if we did not first and foremost remind you of where you can find Sports Frenzy 2.0 along with the weekend edition. That would be Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Casts, Breaker, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! Drop us a line, leave a comment, check out our Facebook page for our weekly NASCAR picks, and when we get to football season, each and every week.
You're putting the baseball picks up there.
No, because it's too complicated for them to understand. I'm not trying to denigrate our audience. I just feel it's a little too complex.
All right.
I'm picking winners in racing. I'm picking winners in one game in football.
There we go.
Baseball.
The whole weekly thing.
There's limits in terms of when you can pick somebody, how often you can pick somebody.
Same with NASCAR.
Yeah, but in the end, they can look at the NASCAR picks and they can still say, okay, Dave and Kev are taking Ross Chastain to win this week. In the end, that's what we're doing.
So, all right.
Sorry, kids. Not trying to denigrate. Not trying to make you. That was a little bit of family discussion there. Sports Frenzy family discussion.
I'm right. He's wrong, but we'll move on.
So the NBA Finals are actually going to start here tomorrow night as we tape.
What, a month after the conference finals, it feels like?
Yeah, I still don't understand why the NBA thinks they know what they're doing when it comes to all these long breaks and these layoffs. They should have had the finals started a couple nights ago.
Yep, that would have been the smart thing to do.
Golden State Warriors taking on the Boston Celtics, even though the Warriors were the 3 seed in the West and the Celtics were the 2 in the East. Golden State had the better overall record, so they get home court.
Yep.
They beat the Mavericks 4-1 to advance. The Celtics beat the Heat 4-3. I like the Celtics a lot. I've said it over and over and over again. I like the fact that they were drafted. They built their team the right way.
They built it from the ground up.
But the thing is, so did the Warriors.
Yeah.
The only problem is the Warriors have been around a lot longer.
They've got the championship experience.
Yeah. Everybody remembers Kevin Durant was the one free agent wild card they threw in there.
Yeah.
But it's still Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green are the core.
Yep. So is the big question, will Golden State rise to the top again, or can Boston recapture the glory for championship number 18?
Golden State 6. Golden State in 6.
This will be a good test for Boston. It'll gain them great experience moving forward for that young team.
Completely agree. And the big thing that I want is I want Steph Curry to get his 4th title to match LeBron fucking James.
and to win the MVP.
Yeah, finally. This will be the first time.
Championship MVP.
He has never won the championship MVP. Sorry, I am not a LeBron lover, as everybody out there knows. And I do like Steph a lot. Steph is the best shooter I've ever seen in my life.
Absolutely.
Not even close. That doesn't mean he's the best player I've ever seen.
No, he's the best shooter. But he's a good teammate, too. And he does not do anything to take away from the team.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that refreshing how he somehow he does Subway commercials. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Shocking. Doesn't make political statements like his head coach or LeBron James.
Yep. He's very much like Reggie Miller.
That's good. Very good comparison.
He's a team leader, and he leads by example and does what's needed for the team.
Yep. So I'm really rooting for Steph. I want him to get his fourth, to put him up there in the conversation, because I don't put LeBron James in the conversation with Michael Jordan. That's blasphemy to me. I don't put him up there in the conversation with Magic Johnson or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's hallowed, sacred basketball ground to me. I want Steph to get up there and kind of nudge LeBron down a little bit is what I want.
Yeah. Here you go from Egg. Mimi sent me. News reporter asked Michael Jordan if he thought the 90s Bulls could beat LeBron's Lakers. Jordan said yes. The reporter goes, by how much? Jordan goes, 2 or 3 points. Porter, why such a close game? Jordan, well, most of us are in our almost 60 now.
Yeah, it still makes me laugh when I hear people on late night sports radio shows talk about how, oh my God, LeBron is in so much better shape. LeBron is such a better player than Michael Jordan. You can't compare. We're not ripping on Michael, but yeah, you are ripping on Michael, number one. Number two, you cannot factor in fairly, mathematically, his heart, his desire, his need to win. His need to win trumps anything LeBron James has got in his heart. I'm telling you, I've never seen an athlete who
with
needed
that
to
fire
win.
And desire.
Never seen anybody who needed to win like that. Never. In any sport. In any sport.
No.
Never seen it. Not Tiger Woods. Not Tom Brady.
Nobody was as driven as Jordan.
That's why he will always be the GOAT to me. Now, poor Darvin Ham. Let's all light a candle for Darvin Ham. Let's say a prayer. He's going to have to take over as the Los Angeles Lakers' new head coach and put up with LeBron James.
The sacrificial pig.
Frank Vogel did the best he could possibly do. He got a ring. Granted, it was in the closed down Orlando environment with the COVID
environment, but still, that team was a train wreck from the beginning. You could see it when they were putting that Lakers team together that they were going nowhere. That it was just a bunch of egos who were aging, and they weren't going to recapture any of their past glory.
No.
I don't know what the front office was thinking bringing these guys together.
And we've talked about Charles Barkley calling Anthony Davis street clothes because you never know if he's going to play, when he's going to play, if he's going to play. Yes, the potential, the promise is there.
But come on. No.
And that's why I never will understand the obsession with LeBron James and why people think he's one of the top 10 greatest basketball players of all time. I just don't think he is. I don't. I'm sorry.
No, he is not.
Maybe it's because I grew up in the 80s and I saw Bird and I saw Kareem and I saw Dr. J and I saw Magic and I saw Michael Jordan. You know, LeBron has never done anything.
Thomas and Ewing.
Even Isaiah Thomas. Hell, James Worthy. Scottie Pippen. You felt like those guys wanted to win. You felt like they lived or died with every game. They didn't have to deal with load management. Oh, I got to take a game off because it's too much for me.
Yeah.
What would Michael Jordan have done?
How many times did we see Larry Bird laying out on the sideline, stretching his back out so he could still go in there?
I will still say, and Karl Malone, another one.
Yeah.
Karl Malone, John Stockton. Right there, we've almost got 10 that I would put ahead of LeBron James. I'm sorry. And you sycophants who seem to think LeBron James is the be-all, end-all. Yes, he is a sculpted Adonis god. He is in perfect physical shape.
He is one of the top players of this age.
That doesn't give him the heart, the fire, the soul, the passion, the desire.
Of the guys we just talked about.
The Olympus of basketball players. Good luck, Darvin Ham. Moving on to the NHL, Dave.
Conference finals.
Your forte.
The Lightning are taking on the Rangers. Rangers had the little bit better record through the regular season, but the Lightning continue on their quest for a three-peat.
Yep.
God, they're looking tough through the playoffs too. So this should be a good series. And out west, Oilers and the Avalanche. That one already kicked off. Avs are up 1-0.
High scoring first game.
Yeah, was
8-6.
Yeah,
8-6.
It was crazy. The Avs outlasted them. I'm thinking it's going to be Avalanche Lightning in the finals. That's going to be one hell of a series.
Completely agree.
Those are the two who I think are the two best teams.
Completely agree. I'm going Avs and Lightning as well. All right, miscellaneous sports news as we start wrapping things up here. Again, check out the weekend edition. Dave and I have got tons to talk about. We will break down Def Leppard's new album, Diamond Star Halos, in its entirety. I will talk Studio 666 with the Foo Fighters.
Yep, we will give you our take of the first 2 episodes of Stranger Things until the maestro can join me in finally knocking it all out.
So, John Madden, what a smart quote-unquote move this is. John Madden will be on the cover of Madden NFL 23.
Oh, no!
Yeah, shocking, isn't it? First time since the 2000 edition released in 1999 that John Madden will actually fully grace the cover of his game.
God, how...
My question is, are they going to do anything different with the goddamn game?
My question is, what's the Madden curse going to be?
Well, it's got to be what? The Raiders? Curse on the Raiders, right?
Probably.
Be. Moving on to golf. Controversy over the last day or so. This Saudi Golf League is starting to really fuck with everybody's minds.
Yes, it is.
The Live Field has been announced, this first tournament in the Saudi League
42
in London.
Players have signed on to play.
Including a lot of guys who would normally play in the PGA tournaments. Dustin Johnson being the big name. Sergio Garcia, Louis Oosthuizen, Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood among those big names. Now, Johnson's the big one because he's an American.
Right.
The others are international players. They can probably get away with this.
Yeah.
Especially with the big paycheck, a little bit easier.
Right.
Because Dustin Johnson has already lost his biggest sponsor in the Royal Bank of Canada.
Yep.
He has been dropped. Now you wonder if Dustin Johnson will be allowed to play on the PGA Tour at all this year.
Well, the PGA commissioner has pretty much said you play for one or the other. You're not playing both.
No waiver.
Yeah, they're not giving any quarter. So it's either you play PGA or you play LIV.
Interesting. You just wonder. somebody else brought this up earlier today, which I thought was a very interesting point of discussion. You wonder if Dustin Johnson sat down with, of course, he's married to Wayne Gretzky's daughter,
Right.
one of the hottest women on the face of God's green earth. But you figure he's got to be sitting down with his family. I figure he'd bring Wayne in on this. Wayne would know a lot about how negotiations, contracts work.
Right.
And you figure he's going, okay, I'm getting this much from the Saudis versus potentially this much if I tour with the PGA this year.
With this from my sponsorship.
Right.
What European Arabic sponsorships could I possibly be pulling in?
Now, do you wonder if now that the Royal Bank of Canada's pulled out, does he kind of put pressure on the Saudi league and say, maybe I should probably
scratch here. Who do you have to sponsor me?
Yep. And here was the thing that really freaked me out this morning. Somebody said, I saw a Koepka on the list. And I was like, what? What? It turns out it's Brooks' brother, Chase Koepka.
Chase is going LIV.
Chase Koepka's going LIV, not Brooks. Not Brooks. So we'll see where this goes, kids. We'll see how this path, this winding, treacherous path leads.
Yeah.
For Dustin Johnson. I don't think, again, Garcia, Oosthuizen, Poulter, Westwood, those type of guys, international players, care as much. It's the American players that really have to be careful.
Now, you also have to look at what kind of paycheck were they going to be pulling in from the PGA versus how much were they going to get from the LIV.
Right, and that's a lot of these guys are coming in.
And even if they lose a sponsorship, they're probably going to be pulling more from the LIV than they would have. So why the hell wouldn't you go and play?
Yeah, Dustin Johnson's the one interesting one because the money there could be really touchy.
Close.
Really touchy. Yeah. Okay, moving over to tennis. Two of the all-time greats faced off in the quarterfinals of the French Open. Rafael Nadal beat Novak Djokovic in 4 sets to advance to the semis.
Yep.
Remember this, kids. Normally, we wouldn't talk about this. Now, this is a major, so we probably would. But quarterfinal match, the thing is we're dealing with history here. Remember, you got Federer with 20.
Yep.
You got Djokovic with 20. You got Nadal with 21. And now Nadal is in the catbird seat to possibly get 22 majors.
Gets himself that 1 win cushion.
And this is his clay course. This is his surface.
His playground.
This is his surface. This is what he loves. This is going to be awesome. I'm telling you. I'm not a big tennis guy anymore, but I understand the greatness involved. I understand what we're dealing with Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal.
Such a historic
We'll never see this again.
Trio.
I'm telling you, this is like baseball. We talk about baseball. We're never getting 300 wins again. I'm telling you, we're never getting anybody close to 20 majors ever again.
No, not anymore.
Ever again. Ever again. So whoever comes out of this on top, now Djokovic has a little bit of an edge in terms of age. We'll see what happens. But right now,
this is definitely intriguing.
Yep. Next week we'll report on who won the men's and women's French Open. It won't be Naomi Osaka. She's covering herself with coconut oil somewhere. Probably with Gabe Kapler.
No.
Oh, that's a picture.
Oh, God. That's an Etch-a-Sketch moment.
Yeah, I think I threw up in my mouth a little bit on that one.
All right.
Moments of silence. 2 horrific car crashes over the past week, claiming 1 young man, 1 older man.
Yep.
First and foremost, Arizona cornerback Jeff Gladney.
And his passenger. 2:30 in the morning, speeding, tried to pass a car, clipped it, and went into the beams. Pictures just showed his car upside down, both pronounced dead at the scene. It's tragic that he lost his life so young and in a way that should not have happened. Thoughts and prayers both their families and friends.
Not trying to get political. I just want to make a point, though. Think about how many people die in car accidents due to excessive speed, drug use, alcohol abuse, and everybody wants to rail and scream and yell about guns.
More people die in auto accidents.
Let's stop people from driving. Let's stop people from driving. You want to talk about saving lives? Let's stop people from driving.
There you go. How about we all live in a frickin' bubble?
John Travolta. Boy in the plastic bubble.
Yep.
Moops.
Moops. Moops. All right.
Unfortunately, another car accident claimed the life of a little known but significant player from the PGA Tour. Bart Bryant passed away in a car accident. Now, he was much older. Jeff Gladney died at 25. I believe Bart Bryant was 59.
Yeah.
But Bart Bryant had won on the PGA Tour 3 times, including kicking Tiger Woods' ass in the mid-2000s. Yes.
Always a good thing.
So, thoughts and prayers to his family. Not going to play dumbass or not this week. We got a couple Red Foreman dumbasses for you to wrap up. I'll go first, and then I will leave the big one for Dave.
Oh, the fun one.
I have ranted, I have yelled, I have screamed, I have raved about the potential for Sinclair and the Cubs and the Marquee Network to overcharge Cubs fans to get the streaming only version of the Marquee Network for anywhere between $18 and $20 a month in season.
Ridiculous.
Well, I thought it was ridiculous too. I thought it was stupid too. And then the New England Sports Network, NESN, just came out today and said they're going to be the first regional sports network to stream where you don't have to have any other ties, don't have to have a cable subscription or any other type of online streaming subscription. But they're going to charge $30 a month.
They're stupid.
For exclusive rights to Boston Bruins and Red Sox games only in New England. Kiss my ass! How about that?
Screw you fucking streaming services.
You fans out there, I swear to God, if you're paying this, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. Do not give in. They're like Saudi terrorists. They are blackmailing you. They are blackmailing you. It's like your children. It's like your children going, I want Disney Plus. I want Disney Plus. And you don't because there's nothing on it you want to watch. And you just buy it to shut them up.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't give them the satisfaction. There should be no way you're paying more than $10 a month for this shit. Think about it.
No streaming package is worth more than $10 to $15.
And check out the weekend edition because I've got a nice little rant about Netflix on that.
Yeah, no
that
kidding.
Front.
Those bastards are getting out of control too. All right, my dumbass. This melds the perfect world. The Reds' Tommy Pham suspended 3 games for inappropriate conduct. What did he do, you ask? He slapped Giants player Jock Peterson before a game over a fantasy football dispute because Pham claims Peterson cheated by pulling an illegal IR move to hold on to a player that he shouldn't have been allowed to hold on to. And as Pham said, if we'd have had a commissioner who was worth a damn, Mike Trout was useless. He didn't enforce anything. I guess this was a big money league they had going.
Yep, Mike Trout's fault.
Blame it on Trout. He can play baseball, but he can't fantasy football commission to save his life.
How the hell, with all the fighting and everything that's been going on in baseball, and people making a big deal about the whole Donaldson-Jackie comment, Pham gets a 3-game suspension for this?
For slapping another player.
Over fantasy football!
Pham is a dumbass for slapping him before a game over this. You should have taken it up outside the stadium. This should have been done before the season even started.
I would like to see the rules in the league because I would like to see what Jock Peterson did. Because you are allowed, as long as you don't make another move, in most of the leagues I know, if you got a guy on IR and he gets released and he's healthy, you can keep him on IR. You just can't make any other moves.
Right.
And if that's the case, that's legal. That's legal.
I think
you do not have to activate him as long as you don't make another move.
And I think the problem was he made other moves.
Well, then that's a bad call on the commissioner's part. The setting should never, you cannot do that. You're locked the minute a player on the IR, baseball, football, doesn't matter. You can stay where you are, use the players you've got, and keep a guy who's healthy on IR, but you cannot make another move, a drop ad, without doing something with that player on IR. If they allowed that, I'm with Tommy Pham. I'm with Tommy Pham on that.
Exactly. But still, it was a dumbass move to do it before a game. The setting was wrong.
I just think Tommy Pham, Jock Peterson, Mike Trout need to go out.
They need to take Fantasy Football 101.
Well, no, they need to go out, maybe on the All-Star break, when they all have off time, go get some Yoba Goya, sit down,
and hash it out.
Eat 3 pots of rancid beef and hash it out. Because, God damn it, that's how fantasy football should be.
All right. That wraps up this segment of Sports Frenzy 2.0. Check out the weekend edition.
And you guys you're doing a great job. Keep it up. But remember to keep listening to the regular sports edition.
Yes.
Every Thursday morning.
Tell your friends. Check out the sports. We put time and effort into everything we do.
We give you the best possible effort we can in everything we do. Just ask my wife. Oh, wait, never mind. No, just ask my best friend.
We put hours and hours into the prep.
And it might not show, but we still do our damnedest. For the Conquistador de Vite.
For the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Again, check out the weekend edition everywhere you listen to your favorite podcast.
Stitcher!
We hope to check you out next week at this exact same time, exact same place. We love you. See you next week.